we are going to be doing our final roundtable for Masterpiece as we talk all things Grantchester. There could be tears, there will be laughter, and maybe even a confession or two.
Excellent.
And of course, it is all strictly off the record. I'm Kacey Ainsworth, aka Cathy Keating. So I'm going to be your host this evening. So we need to introduce ourselves now. So I'd like to just go around the table, starting with you.
I'm Al Weaver and I play Leonard. I'm Robson Green. Robson Golightly Green.
Hey.
That's true. This is Robson Golightly Green and I play Detective Inspector Geordie Keating.
I'm Daisy Coulam and I don't play anyone. I'm a writer.
You're the writer.
You're the reason why we're here.
She's the reason we're in the middle.
That's me. Over to you.
Rishi Nair and I play Reverend Alphy.
I'm Tessa Jones and I play Mrs. Sylvia Chapman.
I'm Bradley Hall and I played Larry Peters.
Oh, great! Oh no, you see, it hasn't started the tears already.
We're all saying play. We're not saying played.
So now we've introduced ourselves, let's get started. And I think the best place to start is the very beginning. And because we have the very person who created all of it, dramatised the books of James Runcie, Daisy Coulam, please cast your mind back and tell us how everything began, how things go from book to screen, because 11 years ago, none of us know, the Masterpiece viewers might not know how that happened.
How it came about. So James Runcie's book, I read it in like an hour and a half and went, this is so awesome. It's clearly, like, all the characters were there, like... You weren't there.
I wasn't there.
You are now.
Bradley wasn't there. But everyone else was, it was all set out like a TV show. He'd really, really thought like 6 episodes, almost 6 chapters. And it would just, I could see it straight away. And then...
So did he write it with the intention of it being a TV series when he was writing it?
I think he'd got that in his mind. Yeah.
But the characters in the book are very, very different to what you created. I mean, I read that first series of books, and I certainly know the relationship between Sydney and Geordie they seemed very, very different, and they looked very different in what you created, because Geordie was terribly overweight, no stranger to the sweet trolley or the bar, you remember?
Really?
He had terrible health problems in the first books, yeah. Oh. He was a big, chunky chap. But when you look at the books and when you digest that information, how do you turn it into something that the intention being a long-running series with an arc and relationships that everybody's going to care about and follow?
Do you know, we storylined it on the Meadows.
Did you?
Yeah. We literally sat on a picnic blanket and worked out what the storylines for the first series. Yeah. It was really cool.
So when was that? 2000?
12?
Wow.
11?
So did you have quite a lot of input in the early days around how Geordie Keating was going to be, regardless of the books, where they were? You read the books, obviously got inspiration from that, and then you could then help develop?
I just said Peter Falk, Columbo. I just said, Peter Falk, Columbo. I said, you know the look. I said, can he have one look? And you said, oh, well, we've got this brilliant costume designer and just got all these other ideas. And I said, can I just have one look? I'll have the stoop like Peter Falk. I'll have the gait, the walk like his. And I want the shoes the same. And I just want this beige look.
Right.
And I want a man who's stuck in time. And that was my only input. And I think it worked because if I do wear a different costume, you notice.
Yeah.
So
or
that
even a different tie.
Yeah. So I think that was the whole thing, certainly for my character. He's a man who is stuck in his ways. And I think that's a lovely thing to play when everybody else is progressing with the time. He's stuck in time.
So now, how many cases did you actually solve?
Well, here's the thing.
In 11 years.
In a way, they solved them together.
Oh,
they
really?
solved them together. Of the 78 murder-stroke deaths, 77 have been solved by a vicar. Wow. So this should be called Grantchester.
One is the answer.
This should be called Grantchester, in brackets, rubbish detective.
Do you remember when we found out you solved a case? And I read the script and I rang you up and went, "You've done it, man! You've done it! You've solved the case!"
Episode 6, Series 11, I've solved it. I've done it.
Finally.
So there we go, just one. So we've gone from the people at the beginning to the last person to arrive with us, which was Alphy, and you arrived at the vicarage haunted by 2 very handsome ghosts. How did you feel about taking over, obviously, which you did with aplomb, as we all know, and also you had another job, you were an executive on the show as well, and what sentence, possibly, this is a lot of questions all at once, so how did you feel about taking over?
I was excited because, you know, it was the first time I was ever going to be a lead on a show, so that was really exciting, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared, and it was super nerve-wracking. It was like such a successful show that you guys had created over 8 years, you know, a kind of staple of British TV, and you come in to lead a show, and my first thing was just, don't mess this up. Do not cancel this show after 1 year, Rishi, whatever you do.
Because that follows you around.
That follows you around,
You're the
yeah.
person who takes over and then
Exactly.
the show.
So it was scary, but it was, you know, within the first couple of days, you guys all made me feel so welcome and such a part of the family, and that kind of allowed me to just relax and be the kind of best version of myself as a person and as an actor. And
Well, you came in with such a different energy.
I did, and you know,
what I really love about this show is all the male relationships and how different each one of them has been with each vicar. And so the bromance has been completely different.
Completely different,
and you came in with a completely different energy.
Well, I when I was auditioning for the show, I thought I should watch some Grantchester to know kind of what the show is about. And I remember putting it on, I think it was season 7. I watched about 5 minutes, and I was watching Tom do his thing. And we're not playing the same character, but we are still the vicar that's part of this duo. And I immediately turned it off and I thought, I shouldn't watch this, because I think what I would subconsciously try and do is replicate what he was doing, or alternatively try and do the complete opposite, which then also alters your performance because you're doing the opposite of what he's done. So I kind of just stopped watching it and I just read the scripts and I kind of just trusted the words that Daisy had written and trusted my instinct to go with that, and trusted the producers and directors around me that if I was veering in the wrong direction, that they would steer me in the right way and say, no, this is kind of what Grantchester's about. And I think that allowed me to bring this kind of fresh take to the show because I didn't really know the show.
Well, Rishi, are you prepared to tell the Masterpiece audience what you told me that would blow our minds?
I didn't know whether I was going to mention
Are you going to tell that story?
It's so good.
Yeah, I suppose I can tell that story.
So good.
When we started working together, do you remember we went for dinner in the Chop House?
Cambridge.
And we came out of the Chop House where we all go for dinner, and we were looking at what's that building called? Where the street? Trinity College. Yeah. In Cambridge, and he was describing this scene to me. He was like, in season 1 we shot here and there was this and our director had vertigo, and he was telling me all this kind of story. And while he was telling that to me, I remember saying to you, I went, do you know what, I'm going to tell you a story one day and it's going to blow your mind. And you looked at me in a really weird way of like, what? That's an odd thing to say. All right. And then I told you a couple of months ago. So that scene that you was describing to me, weirdly enough, in series 1, I was also there because I was an extra on season 1 of Grantchester.
And the amazing thing was, at the Chop House, was that the first time you'd really revealed it, that time you got the photo out?
Yeah, when I told
and there's a photograph of Rishi in that first series, and you handed it round the table, and I thought, how incredibly brave and honourable that you did that. But also, it was just so amazing to think for young actors that you can go from that, being a supporting artist, to playing the lead and being an executive producer. And if that doesn't give hope to actors in the future, I don't know what does.
If that's not the manifest.
In terms of the character Leonard, because I got the States a lot, and you talk to the American audience who love this show, and the majority of them, their favourite character is Leonard. But in the books, that character was very kind of disconnected from the main drive, I think.
He was, wasn't it? I can't remember. He sort of appeared, didn't he?
Yeah, he appeared. It was a tiny little part, and you know, credit to yourself that it's turned into what it has. It's certainly my favourite character in terms of, you know, likability. And it's like, you know, you're watching a piece of theatre and you went, I want that character to come back on stage because I like him so much. I mean, did you kind of realise as this was evolving that where characters were going and relationships were going,
I think
and how popular Leonard would become?
You feed off the actors as well, because I think you watch what they do and then you go, oh, I want to spend more time. So like all of like Larry, for example, you want more of him because you're so good. So like. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting emotional now. Like, you know, like, so you sort of feed off each other, I think. And so then you want to give more dramatic storylines, and then so we put Leonard through the ringer. In fact, we put all of you through the ringer.
Yeah.
So there's been lots and lots of other things that have happened for everybody in this show, and there's things that happened kind of outside of the show, outside of playing the characters. And I'm thinking about, firstly, you two, obviously, because both of you have directed. Now, you've directed episodes, and Brad, you've directed second unit stuff.
There we go, yes.
All of us around this table have done extra things.
Well, you have, Kacey, because you have brilliant ideas. You put them forward and then co-wrote an episode of the series.
But again,
didn't you?
because Emma and Daisy are so open to that, it means that you feel like you're able to share your creativity and
I guess
things
it's
that
them
you
being
want
open,
to.
but also years of collaboration, because every year you get to know people more, and you're able to say, now we're a family, can I ask you if we could do this? Yeah. You know,
But it's
it
like you
takes
said,
time, doesn't it? To do?
On other jobs, that doesn't happen.
No, never.
And you don't have that opportunity to do that.
Because of the you know, the family vibe and the trust that's been built up over the years, that this is, you know, it's such a part of our life, a quarter of my life, half my career.
amazing,
You know,
actually,
it's
isn't it?
incredible. I know that every single person who's on this job will, I know I can only speak for myself, but like take this onto whatever I do. It's given me the confidence, tools.
Yeah.
It's been like an 11-year, very long film drama school.
Yeah.
But it has, in a way.
Yes.
I think that's true of all
It's been
of
a
us.
how to be a better person school. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone, you know, and everyone who's come on this show has turned up, know their lines, you know, had good etiquette, led from the top, and that's bled down from, you know, it's just such a good way to do a show.
Because it's very hard to be able to be taught what a film set's like. There's the terminology, there's how everything works. You know, even things that you don't think about, like cruise show. Like most people would go, well, what's a cruise show?
Yes.
They don't understand what that is, and that's where all your crew come in. They watch the first run through of it so that they know what their part is in that particular scene. And that's the reason why you have a cruise show, so someone's not sitting there going, oh, they need tea. I didn't think they were drinking tea. So you have this whole cruise show thing, and those are the things that you often get younger actors kind of saying, what's that?
Well, that's because in drama schools, particularly in the
don't
University
teach
of Drama training, nobody teaches them. Nobody ever. I mean, I mentor at Central, and the third-year students still don't know what a crew list is. They don't know what everyone on a crew does. Well, that's outrageous at a drama school that's teaching acting.
Who did you mentor? You mentored somebody,
At Central, well, I do it each year.
didn't you mentor?
Oh, yeah, talking of that.
Yes. There you go. This is your other job.
Oh, my
Tessa.
God, I'd forgotten that. Al Weaver.
When this was going to come up.
Yeah.
Bradley, did you know this? Bradley didn't know. So, Al,
Oh, it's
tell
because we never have
Bradley.
scenes together, so he's never there when
So
you
tell
tell this
Bradley.
story to everybody.
Tell Bradley about our experience.
Tell me that. Tell me.
You know that.
Did you not know?
Absolutely not.
21 years
Well,
old.
that's because we don't have any scenes together. It's usually just me and Tessa in the vicarage with the vicar
Yeah,
when she
banging on
tells
about
the
it.
story every single
You two can go to
day.
sleep whilst doing it.
So in your third year of drama school at Guildhall, where I went, you get given a mentor. And it's someone to sort of like have a chat with you and speak to you about, you know, going forward into the world. And I got Tessa Pete Jones.
No way.
Indeed.
You are kidding
I've
me.
taught him everything he knows.
It's all making sense.
So she sat. So we had a chat. So did I do my monologue for you? I don't.
How old was you now?
You did your audition.
I was 20.
Did you make him perform?
Yeah, he had to do his audition
22.
speeches. I was paid to do 6 hours work with him. I had to go through his audition speeches and give him advice. He never listened. And then watch all your shows in your final year, didn't I? And your
That's
agent's evening or whatever it was.
And what's the biggest difference difference between Al then and Al now?
I think I listen more now.
You listen more.
Yeah, I'm much more calm. I was very I didn't want to hear anything really. And Tess was so gorgeous and kind.
Well, you were already, you didn't need any advice whatsoever, but you weren't going to listen anyway.
The irony is, I said to you the other day, I said, it's taken 23 years or whatever for your advice to stick in. And 11 years of working together as a proper mentor to really get through to me, you know, all the things you were trying to teach. But I think I said in your car, the main thing you taught me is just how to have joy on set. And, you know, I think just make the other people around you have a good time as well, just with kindness and whatever, that actually being a better person is the best thing you can do as an actor.
Well, if I've taught you that, then that's amazing.
I mean, that show's taught
I'll
me
take
that. That show's made me a better person. Leonard has made me a better person.
So in the future for everyone's characters, what would you have liked to have seen? Good question.
In the future?
Yeah, so you know...
What's series 15, if there had been?
Well, what would you, if you had any ideas
that would
about
be
the
nice.
future for your character, what would you have liked to have done? Where do you think they would have liked to have gone?
We always talked about Interpol, you know, when countries started talking to one another about crimes. Going abroad. Can you imagine us in Paris?
That would have been
or
great.
America?
Transferred to New York, we all go. We all go with them. I always wanted to end up in Paris as obviously Coco Chanel.
Yeah, indeed.
Or Anna
Cece's
Wintour.
takes off.
Anna Wintour, definitely. She needed to have that bob.
Great.
And just a pair of sunglasses, and I just would become very quiet and still. So that's what I wanted for mine. What did you want for Leonard?
I don't know whether there's a lot of storylines we always talked about and things that Leonard's literally been through everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I always did, because there was always one when he directed the Christmas theatre show, directed the kids. But I always had an idea. I always wanted him to be a football coach and do the Sunday boys football team and just the image of him trying to control a football team.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. Imagine you in the half-time talk. 13-0. This is a ball.
So I think from all of us and from Sydney and Will and Miss Scott and Daniel and Mr. C, who none of them are here, we want to say thank you very much for watching and for every bit of love that you've sent our way and the stories that we've shared with the viewers who love this village and its murderous inhabitants. And we want to say thank you and good night.
Well done, Kacey.
Well done. Yeah.